I'm not at all in shock about the contents of the government's federal budget. This government has proven again and again that it has total contempt for all hardworking Canadians that build Canada. The latest budget serves as another blow to Canadian wealth creators. The federal government's budget is a nail in the Canadian independent business coffin, who are the economic driver of the Canadian economy. This follows the 2017 small business corporate income tax changes and the harsh treatments of private businesses during the COVID-19 lockdowns. Under the so-called fiscal responsibility, the Canadian budget introduced measures that cripple entrepreneurship and economic independence in Canada. The proposed increase in the capital gains inclusion rate and the introduction of a restrictive $250,000 annual threshold are clear indicators of the government's disdain for independent wealth creators, entrepreneurs, and private Canadian business owners. The capital gains inclusion rate will increase from 50% to 66.7% for corporations and trusts, making 33.3% non-taxable. For individuals, the increased inclusion rate is to apply on the portion of capital gains realized in the year that exceeds $250,000. This will apply to capital gains realized on or after June 25, 2024. So, what do these new rules mean in terms of actual tax rates? Consider an investor in Ontario who is in the top marginal tax bracket for 2024. The current capital gains inclusion rate of 50% means that the marginal tax rate on capital gains is 26.7%. But with the new inclusion rate going up to 66.7% for gains above $250,000 after June 25th, our Ontario investor would now face a top capital gains marginal tax rate of 35.7%. That is 9 percentage points higher than the current rate. It is important to note that corporations and trusts don't get the lower 50% inclusion rate on the first $250,000 of annual gains, meaning that from June 25th onwards, all corporate gains will be taxable at the new 66.7% inclusion rate. Investors who have capital losses carried forward from prior years will still be able to deduct them against taxable capital gains in the current year. This means that a capital loss realized, say in 2023, at a current rate of 50% will be fully available to offset an equivalent capital gain realized once the inclusion rate goes up to 66.7%. But perhaps the most significant is the potential impact the inclusion rate will have on estates. In the year of death, there's a deemed disposition of all your capital property at fair market value. This means that if there's a sizable non-registered investment portfolio with some accrued gains sitting there on the day you die, your estate will have to pay tax on the deemed disposition of 66.7% for any gain above $250,000. The change inclusion rate will require review of existing insurance in place to fund capital gains tax liabilities and other deferred taxes arising on death. Where no insurance is in place, the need for liquidity will become more acute. There's still hope. If you are a Canadian wealth creator, business owner, entrepreneur, professional, or high net worth individual, it's crucial to understand your remaining options. Visit us at IBCanada Group.com.